Hey, so just real quick before this starts, I just wanted to say that I had to film this video on a different phone so that I could use my phone for a part in it. I didn't realize how shaky the audio quality was until I started editing it, so I am sorry. I'm gonna do my best, but just know that I'm aware that it's a little off. I'm really gonna try and do what I can, and the next video will be better. So, sorry. Hey, what's up? My name is Caroline, and I wanted to do another video just because I really enjoyed editing it last time. It ended up being a lot more fun than I thought it would be, and it's something that I don't know if I'll do it forever, but in the meantime, this is kind of like a nice hobby to have during quarantine, and it's something that I had a lot of fun with. I feel like this is kind of a darker transition. I want this channel to be kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. Basically, if I have an idea, I'm just going to talk about it. There's really not going to be a theme. It's just going to be whatever I want it to be for that day. So to jump into this, there's a girl that I follow on here. Her username is CJades, and I will pop her in here. Her name is Courtney, and she makes a lot of really good content. When I would go to the gym, I would listen to her a lot. She'll have people submit stories to her, whether that's like creepy stalker stories, paranormal stories. I'm very into true crime stuff, and so this was kind of right up my alley, and I just think she does a good job. When watching one of her videos about just creepy coworker encounters, I felt like I had blocked a lot of this out, and then I watched one of those and it all just kind of resurfaced. And I wanted to tell my story because for a while I thought about submitting it to her, but now that I, have like this very, very tiny YouTube channel, I thought maybe I would just do it myself. It's a fucked up story, but it's entertaining. I'm not going to put anybody's real name in this. I'm not going to even mention the company that I was working for. I want it to be kind of anonymous. If you know me and you know my work history throughout high school, you may know where I'm talking about, but once again, I'm not going to disclose that. So in high school, I worked at a couple of different pizza places, and my senior year, I was working at this particular one. I had worked there for 3 or 4 months. We're gonna call him Jason. Jason started working there around October. He was just some guy. I really didn't think much of him. He was probably like late 30s. At first he seemed pretty normal. He seemed like any other delivery driver that worked there. I would see him in passing. Hey, how's your night going? Pretty good. Or, oh, it sucks. Whatever. That was the extent of our conversations. As time progressed, he started getting a little weird with me, but it was subtle. He would say things that were a little off. He would ask me a lot of personal questions, and I didn't like that. Like, he would ask me, like, what do you think about religion? What do you think about this? How are your parents? Like, weird things that why are you asking me that? But once again, I'm 17, so I'm trying to just, I don't know, maybe he's bored. And I don't want to be super outright mean to him, so I'm like, this is weird, but it's not that weird. By, I want to say like December, he started getting really odd with me. He would always ask if I wanted to come over to his house and smoke a bowl, or like he would tell me, if you ever need somebody to buy you alcohol, like, I can always buy it for you. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go over to your house. The people that worked there, so it was me, it was my best friend at the time, and it was a lot of kids that were in college, and they were only like, 2 to 3 years older than me. So there was a kid named, we'll call him Devin, that worked there, and his older brother, we'll call him AJ. They both worked there, and then they were roommates with another guy that worked there, we'll call him Zane. Okay, so there's AJ, who is Devin's brother, and then there's Zane, and they're all roommates. They have this little house on campus. Me and my best friend that worked there would go over there on the weekends sometimes, and we would drink, hang out, talk, whatever. Jason knew this,
And so I feel like he thought that, oh, well, you're going over there and hanging out with these people, like, why would you not want to come to my house? And it's insane because in his head he didn't see how weird it was that he was asking me to come over. Like, he was maybe late 30s and I'm 17. I'm not going to come to your house after a shift where it's very late at night and it's just going to be the two of us. That's weird. That's very weird. I would try and tell people, like, I think Jason has a crush on me. He's really weird with me. I think there's something going on there. And everybody would tell me, like, no, you're just overreacting. He's like that with everybody. He's just really friendly. And I'm like, okay. Me and Devin ended up kind of hanging out a lot. We didn't date, but we talked. I had a crush on him. I just thought he was really cute. He was really nice. One day, Devin was on the cut line where he was just pulling the pizzas out, cutting them, whatever. I was standing there talking to him, and he said something, and it made me laugh. And Jason walked by and said, "Why don't you two fucking lovebirds get a room?" And then slammed the door as he walked out with his delivery. Like, he was pissed. At this point, he was getting very ballsy. He was a lot more blunt about his feelings towards me, and he did not care. Around this time, I was really I was really in love with Steve-O from Jackass. He was my celebrity crush. I'll insert some pictures here. I loved Steve-O. I thought he was so entertaining. I thought he was so fun. I thought he was so cute, and he was just like my man in high school. I met him while I was working at this pizza place, so Jason knew about that. And I remember one time he was talking to me and he was like, well, I just think it's really weird that you love Steve-O so much, even though he's my age, but you would never give me a chance. He was asking me, what is the difference? I'm like, well, for one, you know, Steve-O's famous. For two, Steve-O doesn't have meth teeth. For three, like, you're just some delivery guy. Another important detail that I need to mention in this is that Jason had a daughter that was only 3 years younger than me. So I was 17 and she was 14. She was a freshman in high school and I was a senior at the same time that he was doing all of this weird shit with me. There was one time where I finally did call him out, and I said, what if your daughter was being asked by someone the same things that you're asking me? He said, that's different because you're a lot older and a lot more mature than her.
A lot older and a lot more mature than her.
Okay. And when I found that out, I was so creeped out because I'm like, how do you not make that distinction that I am somebody's teenage daughter and you're doing this? And it was just, ugh, ugh, ugh. He would make those comments about Steve-O. He would get mad when me and Devin would talk or laugh together or essentially be standing too close to each other. He took a real issue with this. My birthday was coming up. This was around January or February, and my birthday is on March 1st. He started getting really weird, and he was asking me if I would want to go to a hotel with him, and at first I laughed. I mean, I laughed because this guy's not fucking serious. Of course I'm not going to go to a hotel with you, you dumbass. Like, why would you think that I would? But he was serious. I remember one time he pulled me aside and he was like showing me on his phone, like, I found this place in downtown, you know, it's a little expensive, but I would pay for it. And I was like, Jason, I'm not going to go to a hotel with you. And he was like, well, why not? I'm like, I don't have any interest in you, but this is not going to happen. And in his head, he never once heard that. He always heard, oh, well, it's because I'm older. He never factored in that I just did not like him as a person. He never factored in that I wasn't attracted to him. He never factored in that I would just not go for someone like him. He always just, in his sick little head, thought, oh, it's just the age gap. That's the only single thing standing in the way between me and this 17-year-old girl, is she's intimidated by my age. I mean, while that definitely factored into it, there were so many other fucking things. Like, I just don't like you. I don't have to give you any other reason than I don't like you. But he still persisted. He still was trying to get me to go to a hotel with him, and I kept telling him, no, I'm not going to do that. He kind of backed off a little bit, and in the midst of this, I was still telling, like, everybody I worked with, like, Jason is really creepy towards me. He makes all these comments. He calls me cute. He messages me on Facebook, a lot of weird stuff. And now he's asking me to go to a hotel with him. And everybody still was like, you're just exaggerating. That's not happening. He wouldn't do that. Like, he's so nice. After I turned 18, I felt like things got a little worse because now I wasn't jailbait. He wasn't going to get in trouble necessarily for pursuing me. He could be much more open about it. Not that he already wasn't, but now there were going to be no legal repercussions of being creepy with me. One day, I was sitting there and I was just putting labels on the boxes, whatever, and I was just like on the phone, and AJ, he was one of the guys, like I said, that we would go over to his house and whatever. He was Devin's brother, and he was also a shift manager at the time. He was standing there on make line, you know, making pizza, and Jason came up to me, didn't say anything, and just grabbed my ass. And I remember standing there with a label in my hand, and I just froze. Like, I was so fucking uncomfortable. Like, my heart was raced. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even say, like, what the fuck or get off me. Like, I panicked, and I was like, in my head, I was like, there's no way he's doing this. We're at work, for one, and for two, like, really? Like, I couldn't believe that it was happening. But it was, and AJ saw the whole thing. And that's when he started to kind of believe me. Finally, like, somebody believed me. And AJ was like, are you okay? Because Jason did that, and then he just walked away. He didn't say anything to me, acted like nothing happened. And I didn't say anything either, like I said, because I was just stunned. And I was like, oh, okay. And AJ asked, you know, are you okay? Of course not. But I didn't know what to say. I still didn't have words. And I almost cried, and I was trying not to, and I was like, I'm good. I don't want to talk about it. And he was like, do you want me to tell my supervisor who owned the place? And I was like, I don't know. Of course I wanted him to, but I was putting myself in a really compromising situation because it felt like, for one, I was very young. I was still in high school. I hadn't even graduated yet. I didn't fucking know how to handle this. And for two, I felt like if we go to the higher up person who's in charge of everybody, will it get worse? Will Jason get threatening with me? Will he get mad at me? Like, I didn't know how to handle it, and I regret it, but I ended up just telling him, no, I don't want to deal with it. And he said, okay. I ended up moving out before I graduated, and that is a whole nother story, but I had a lot of home issues going on. It was a lot. So before I graduated, I moved in with my best friend that I worked with at said pizza place, another friend of ours, and then my boyfriend at the time. We'll call him Jack. So we were all living together in this house. I think it was like our first or second night there, and I get a call at 2 or 3 in the morning from some number I didn't recognize. And I'm laying in bed with Jack, and I was like, who the fuck? So I didn't answer it, and then I got a text like right after it ended, and it was like, come outside. And I said, who is this? And he said, Jason. Why are you outside at 2 or 3 in the morning? Why do you know where I live? Me and my friend that worked there, we did take a couple of days off, and people that we worked with knew that we were moving, but we never disclosed our address because why would we? I never gave Jason my phone number. Why would I? There were so many red flags. I just froze up. I didn't know what to do. So I told my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, we need to call the cops. And I'm like, do I? Because once again, I'm put in a really weird, compromising position. Because if I call the cops on him right now, I have to go to work tomorrow and see him. And being an adult now, like as 26, I would have handled this much differently. But being 18, I was frazzled, I was scared. Nothing in the world, not school, not your parents, nothing prepares you to be in a weird situation like this. So I just did not know what to do. And I just texted him back. I said, I'm not coming outside. Don't ever come to my house again. You need to leave. And thank fucking God he did. He took that as like, okay, I overcrossed, obviously. But for him, that was like a breakthrough. So I finally felt like, okay, he must know that what he is doing is fucking weird. So he left, and I saw him at work the next day, and I tried to ignore him, but he was like, hey, you know, sorry about last night, lol, like just no big. And I'm like, it's cool, or whatever, you know, alright. And I quit, I think, 3 weeks after that incident because
Fuck that.
between dealing with him and then also like my hours getting cut to virtually nothing, I was making no money. I wanted to get the fuck away from that place and never ever see him again. And thank God, like that's where the story pretty much ends and that it didn't go past that. But just the fact that that all happened to me, and that was like a whole year of my life, and I genuinely kind of blocked it out. And then when I started watching those videos, I was like, holy shit, like this is very similar to what happened to me. So after I watched those, I started thinking about it and I was like, I wonder if I still have those Facebook messages that he sent me. And I do. So I quit that pizza place May 2012. I got this message on January 4th, 2014. 2 years after I quit. 2 years after not communicating with this man, not seeing this man. So I'm gonna read it, but it is extremely long, and if I stutter, kind of fumble over my words, keep in mind that there are typos, and this was written by a madman. This was from January 4th, 2014, at 3:24 a.m. A death in the family of a young person has, as it does, put mortality and the shortness of our lifespans into sharp contrast. I find it terrible that it is only through tragedies like this that people truly grasp the concept of how little time we have here. For me, it has reminded me that there should never be a reason for people to hide how they feel. I am sure through some of our earlier messages and interactions that you gathered, I generally do not hold back on saying how I feel. But as I said, tragedy makes the picture a little more vivid. Having said that, I must dispense with tact and charge forward as boldly as I can though the end of life was chasing me. I liked you from the first day I saw you smile and heard you laugh. I won't say love, because technically love is nothing more than a series of chemical reactions in our brain. So I say like, which generally works out to be the same as love, only slightly smaller. Emotions are emotions and labels are labels, and they're too restrictive. I have always found you to be amazingly beautiful, and by beautiful, I mean so stunning that were I in less control of my jaw, it would drop every time I looked at you. I know you think my age was always a factor, but the flip side of that is because of my age, I'm a little better distinction through experience. I have seen many beautiful women walk through this life, and I label you among the top. Gorgeous does not come close to description. You and I also share a dark side. I can see it in you, but neither of us have led it to the point of destruction. That I can tell because of the light inside of us, especially yours. Shines brighter than 1,000 moons. And just to reiterate this again, I literally only talked to him in passing. So these deep conversations and the light and dark that he saw within me, he gathered from him being like, hey, how's your night going? And me saying, not too bad, I'm here. Your entire demeanor on life makes me smile. The way you handle yourself, the way you speak, and how deep your mind goes. And I feel I've only seen the surface of this pool. So on top of thinking that you are amazing in every way I can think of, there is yet more I don't know. I can only imagine how wonderful you are when no one is around. Now, I will apologize. I have said none of these things to make you uncomfortable or give you the impression that I am obsessed.
Give you the impression that I am obsessed.
Or something silly like that. Okay. I wanted you to know these things because it is what I feel, and I would hate to die without ever have said them to you. I am sad that something as trivial as age will be the reason that keeps me from a deeper connection, but glad that you let me in as far as you did. I try to maintain a quiet background existence in your world, the occasional message or poke or whatnot, just to remain at least that close to you. Whether you ever include me in your world or not, I just wanted you to know that you are a shining point of light in mine, and the connotations behind that statement are heartfelt and deeper than you think. If the day ever comes where the age difference is no longer a factor for you, send me an invite into your life and we'll go do something fun. If that day never arises, then know that I will always remain your friend, and you may count on me for anything you may need, whether that be a hug, a few bucks, a ride somewhere, anything you may need, I'd be happy to help you. All you need to do is ask. Your presence is missed. I have not seen this man in 2 fucking years, and he sends me that. Of course I don't reply. And so, April 18th, 2014, once again, 3:03 a.m., 4 months after I don't reply to that fucking insane message, he sends me, "Hey girly, thought about you today. How's life treating you? You still working at," I'm not gonna mention the place I worked at, "or did you escape this so-called life for something grand? Just wanted to say hey and let you know that you are thought of." Don't reply to that one either. So then a couple months after that, on July 24th, 2014, he says, "You ready to let me take you out yet? Winky face. Love the pics. You're still always on my mind," with the rose emoji. Great, thanks. Don't reply to that either. So then a month later a couple of weeks later, this was August 7th, 2014, "You're beautiful. Just thought I'd tell you in case no one has today. Enjoy your Thursday. Winky face." And thank God that was the last crazy message I got from him. The last time I actually saw him in person, I was working at the hospital in my hometown in 2015. So this is 3 years after I quit that pizza place. So after he had sent me all of those fucked up messages, this is a year later. I'm at the hospital, and in our little common area, I guess to say, we had a Subway. So there was like the waiting room in the hospital, there was a Subway where you could get food. Me and my friend that worked there were on our lunch break, so we're standing there, we're waiting in line for food, and I see him walking, and I was like, oh my god, no. And I remember telling her, "Could you stand in front of me so that he can't see me?" And she was like, "Girl, what's going on?" I was like, "Please." So she did, but he still fucking saw me. So he runs up to me like we're married and he just got back from the fucking war and we haven't seen each other in years. He picks me up, hugs me, and spins me around. What the fuck are you, why are you doing this? My face was so fucking red. I could feel all the blood rush. My heart was racing. He put me down. My friend was just like looking at me like, "Girl, what the fuck?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he said, "Oh my god, I've missed you so much." I'm like, "Oh, I know, Jason. I know that you have." And I just said, "Okay." Like, I didn't, what am I supposed to say to you? And I said, "All right, well, I hope you have a good day." He said, "Yeah, you too. You know, you can always message me." I'm like, "Oh, I know I can, Jason. Thank you for that." That concludes this crazy fucking story. I don't know if he still works at that pizza place. I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully, he has seen how fucked up it was that he did those things, and that the feelings that he felt for me were extremely inappropriate, extremely disturbing, and that he should not have pursued me the way he did. I hope, for his sake, and not even for his sake, fuck him, I hope that for all of the girls in his life's sake, that he has changed and that he is not displaying this predatory behavior towards other young girls. So that kind of concludes this video. Like I said, this channel is just really going to be whatever I want to talk about for that day. So I hope this was entertaining, I guess, and I will see you guys next time, and I hope that no creepy pizza man comes and bothers you.